That's all we got for today, Pittsburgh. Thank you. Goodbye.
Good night. Thank you.
Oh, they don't want us to go. That's really sweet. We gotta go. Thank you. Goodbye. Nope. Nope. I'm not doing him. Not bringing him on.
There are a couple people that want to become.
Fine. Aside from all the things this gentleman has done that you know and do and follow like a cult, because he has you eating out of his hand, his sullied hand, his unwashed hand, and yet still, this man, this personality has singularly teamed up with his co-actors and you to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars in hurricane relief over the last few weeks. I hate to say it, but I admire the crap out of him. Ladies and gentlemen, Misha Collins. It's kind of sad. Like you come out and people just stand up to leave. Like they immediately
the show is more or less over. The bathroom calls, I get it.
So how's it going, buddy? When'd you get in town?
Oh, I've been here for weeks, minutes. I was shooting last night. You don't know what I was shooting.
And you don't know if you did a good job.
And you don't know if I did a good job, more importantly. I was shooting poorly at wild animals, which is cruel. But I haven't had a whole lot of sleep. There was a fly on the airplane this morning. I was like, you know what? This is fantastic. I got my little eye mask, which by the way, I've kept in the same eye mask that I got like in a little toiletry kit at some point. This little red sort of velvety eye mask. And I've kept it in the little side pocket of my bag for 2 or 3 years now. It looks like an oil rag that you would see at a normal gas station. It's so disgustingly filthy. And so I put it on my face, like you do. And people don't bother me. But the fly on the airplane loved my eye mask. So
it was covered in poo, it sounds like.
Anyway, I simply couldn't sleep because of this goddamn fly that I couldn't catch, and I looked crazy. I had this like dirty, like homeless man eye mask on, and I was swatting at this fly that nobody else saw.
I gotta say,
and the stewardess kept saying, "Are you all right, sir?" But now here I am.
I've never heard somebody call an eye mask a homeless guy eye mask.
I'll show you.
A homeless guy eye mask, and I had my homeless guy moisturizer.
I'll tell you how bad my eye mask is. So we were walking on that sky bridge right over there just now, and Jim, I don't know, what's the technical term? Slave. So he was walking next to me, and I found in my pocket was bulging, and I was like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's my eye mask. And I was like, Jim, can you hold my eye mask? Because I didn't want to have my eye mask on stage. That's weird. And Jim was like, I'm not touching that thing. That's how bad
you have pushed Jim to the breaking point. Good for you, Jim.
In fairness, he took it because he knew he had no choice. But
you are a cruel taskmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, Misha Collins.
Jay Gable.
Jay Gable doing a big exit. Misha Collins. Eyes front, people.
Hi guys, how are you? Oh, good. That sounds like a good report. I'm tired. Oh my goodness. What do you guys want to talk about? You see that? Like the different colors on that?
Do not throw a black light on the eye mask.
What is that
Oh,
hair?
dude,
What are those
you know
hairs
damn
from?
well what that is. That's wrong. It's an eye mask. It's not one of those masks. Listen, but no, come on, for starters.
Guys, it smells like sleep. Smell it.
For those of you trying to think of the perfect fan gift to give Misha, may I suggest
It actually just makes you pass out.
a new eye mask.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
good
guys.
luck. Bye.
And now I have it in my pocket. Anybody want a dirty eye mask? It's time to upgrade. It's all yours. So sleep. Yep. When I was putting my kids to sleep around 4th of July. 4th of July was exciting in our town because fireworks are illegal, even on 4th of July. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I went to the nearby Indian reservation and bought the most sort of dangerous fireworks they had available. And then there was a block party, and I went to the block party, and nobody was lighting off fireworks. And I was like, what's going on here? This is craziness. And everyone was like, it's not legal here. And I said, are you kidding me? That is no reason not to do something. And so I brought out my big bag of super explosive stuff. And by the way, I cannot believe you can buy this in any jurisdiction. And started lighting stuff off, and then some of the neighbors came out, and they were like, oh, well, will you light my stuff off too? You know, but they didn't want to be caught actually lighting a match. And then some other neighbors came out, and they were like, hey, I'm gonna call the cops on you, you asshole. So it went really well. I felt like it was a kind of a good neighborhood bonding experience. And then that night I was telling my kids stories about, because my dad was like a pioneering model rocketeer. He was actually in the Smithsonian as like a young model rocketeer. There's a phenomenon, if you're into like model rocketeering, there's a term called the Kripke effect, which is named for my father. And in the glossaries of model rocketeering, it says the Kripke effect is when your rocket makes a lot of noise and smoke but goes nowhere. So that's sort of our family's claim to fame. But I was sometimes when we're lying in bed, I was with my kids, and I was telling them the story about my dad and his sort of journeys into model rocketeering, and he has some great stories that. About his sort of experimenting with rockets that end with him hurting other children. And I was telling a story, and my son said, where was Baba B? And Baba B is what they call my mom. And I was like, ooh. I didn't want to upset them or anything, but I was like, well, you know, my parents, at that time, had decided that they would be happier and a better couple if they were not together as a husband and wife. So they were taking care of us separately, and we'd go back and forth. And they got a divorce, but it was actually really good for them. It made them much more happy. And I'm nervous because so whatever seeds we plant as the kids are going to sleep seems to be the nightmare that they have. Like I was telling them about the pirates that lived in the attic. Super night terror material. So don't, like if you have small children, not a great idea. They won't dress themselves in the morning because they don't want to go into their closet because it's close to the attic. And then to like get them to not think about pirates. This is a rambling story. To get them to not think about pirates, I read them a story about a pig who loves toast and butter. And then my daughter woke up screaming like someone was trying to rip her fingernails out. I want my butter, I want my butter. So whatever the last thing that they think about when they go to sleep is what gives them nightmares. And so I was like, I don't want them thinking about like parents separating. So I just made it sound as good as possible. And the night elapsed, and there were no nightmares. And the next morning, I was dropping them off at school, and I forgot West's water bottle, and his teacher was like, "That's okay. You can use one of the share cups. Would that be okay with you?" And Wes said, "Yes, I would like that, and I want my parents to get a divorce." So it was very sweet. He has a way. It's so sweet. When I was 16, I distinctly remember arm wrestling my dad, and I don't know why, but we were sitting at his pine kitchen table, and somehow we got to arm wrestling, and I was like just sort of getting into the middle of puberty and starting to grow, and he was at that point 4 inches taller than me, and we arm wrestled for some reason, and I beat him, and I just felt so bad. I was like, my own father's mortality flashed in front of my eyes, and I saw his crestfallen face, and I just felt like such a horrible son. But now I'm a dad, and I have this, this little bundle of light, and we went to the tallest climbing gym in Washington State. It's like really high, and you put on the ropes and the carabiners and the whole thing. And I was like, I'm gonna show my son the ropes, literally. And so you can climb in parallel. So I was climbing up on one side, he was climbing on one side, and there's these thick blue mats on the floor. It's very safe. But it's really tall, and I got up about 10 feet, and I started shaking. Like a lot, like so much that I couldn't climb any higher. Like my knees were basically totally spasming, and I was terrified. And it was just this really sweet moment when West was climbing up on his side, and he looked over at me with his pure and innocent face, and he said, as he sort of scrambled up toward the top of the ceiling, he said, "Dad, I'm always going to beat you at everything." So anyway, that's my little family stuff that's going on for me right now. How's everything here in Pittsburgh? It seems like this rare little safe space away from hurricanes in this country right now. Yes, let's hope that holds on. Do you guys want to do that thing where you ask questions and we talk about stuff? Okay, great. Okay. Hi.
Is this? Oh, okay. Hi.
Hi.
Wow. Sorry, I'm freaking out. So, I did Gishwas this year, not officially because I'm 13 and can't officially do it, but I was helping out, and I wanted to know what your sort of inspiration to create Gishwas was.
How did you do it unofficially?
I helped out with the team, like, without being officially on the list. I was just sort of helping out and doing things.
Sounds a little bit like child exploitation to me. That's why I'm asking. Were you forced into this situation?
I was the one who told them Gishwas existed.
Okay, shame on you, then. That's an interesting question. There are a few seeds for Gishwas for me. One was I went to the University of Chicago, your neighbor to the northwest, and we had this window every year that was the highlight of the year, where we had something called Scav, which was a long weekend scavenger hunt where we got to set aside all of our academics and all of our sort of depression from being in such a miserable school. And now University of Chicago is much different, but it was very depressing when I was there. The entire social life was in the windowless basement of the library. There wasn't even a student center when I was there. So this one fun thing that we had every year, like everyone bottled up their fun all year and poured it into this long weekend, and it was awesome. I actually wouldn't have it any other way. It was so great. Bad things happened, for sure, during that time. I had, one of the items was to get, I think 3 speeding tickets in Canada assigned to 1 license plate. You have 1 weekend, and you have to drive up to Canada and fucking drive as fast as you can and get caught 3 times. And then drive back, all without getting arrested. Stuff like that. So it was a great time and very inspiring. 30 parking tickets assigned to 1 car was another sort of misdemeanor item in the hunt, I remember. But anyway, that was really fun for me. So later on in life, when I got on Supernatural, I found myself sort of painted in a corner where I had promised fans something, but I didn't know what I was going to deliver. And I had this list of weird kind of art projects that I had been assembling for years that I had never gotten around to doing. And so I thought, I know, I'll have everyone do these art projects for me, couch it as fulfilling my promise to them, and then frame the whole thing in a scavenger hunt and see if it worked, and it kind of did. So that was the beginning of it. But it blossomed into something much cooler. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
If you do feel like you're being taken advantage of as a child, though, like there are places you can... Hi.
Hi. We actually have the same birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So I was wondering if you could do anything for your birthday, what would it be?
Like year, are we the same year and
No,
day?
the same month and day.
Same month and day, but you're 15 years younger.
I'm 25.
You're 25? Okay, 17, 18 years younger?
Something like that.
Okay, hold on, I'm gonna be right back. This coupled with my son, my 6-year-old son being more physically adept than me has been kind of difficult for me to process. What are we talking about?
If you could do anything for your birthday, what would it be?
Be 25. Actually, this year for my birthday, I did something totally awesome, which is I went to the Eclipse. Did anyone else here manage to see the eclipse? Like, let me clarify, because I'm a bit of an eclipse snob now. A slob. I'm an eclipse slob. Literally, a slob. They're pointing out the fact that I actually was an Eclipse slob because an Argentinian TV crew found me outside of the showers for some reason at this Eclipse event where they had just opened up the showers for the first time in 2 days. There were 100,000 people camped out in this farmer's field. I was one of them, and nobody had taken a shower. It was disgusting. And this TV crew walks up, and they're like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, well, you know, there's these showers here, and everybody here is disgusting. And then the interviewer had no idea who I was. He just saw some disgusting, dirty hippie with an eye mask. But they broadcast the footage back to Argentina, back to network headquarters, and the anchors of like the Argentinian Good Morning Today show were like, that's Misha Collins, you idiot. And so then all over Argentinian TV, they broadcast this segment about me talking about being dirty and not having showers. And other networks picked it up. So this wasn't just like one major network in Argentina, it was everyone picked it up. And they were all talking about it, and they have those little like news scroll banners. And at the bottom of the news scroll banner, it said, does anybody know what it said in Spanish exactly? Misha Collins doesn't shower. So, I think good PR, all in all. So yes, I am literally an Eclipse slob. But who was in the path of totality? The rest of you basically missed out on the coolest experience of your life. It's mind-blowing. The temperatures dropped by like 30 degrees. Stars come out. You see a panoramic 360-degree sunset. It was just mind-blowing. And then the corona around the sun. We drove for like 12 hours down and 16 hours back to see it. And it was a 2-minute window that we saw this thing. And when it started, I was like, this was 100% worth it. It was so cool. So anyway, that's what I did for my birthday, and I wish that that would happen again on my birthday. But I can't change the movement of celestial bodies with birthday wishes, unfortunately. So, oh, I can? Oh, great. How about you?
Probably talk to Misha Collins at a supernatural convention.
Do any supernatural conventions line up with your birthday, though?
No.
So it's equally disappointing for you. Huh? It sucks, doesn't it?
Thank you.
I'll see you in Argentina, though, in 2019 for the Eclipse. There's the one coming up there. All right. Hi.
Hi. My name's Donna, and I first want to say you are like definitely the most gorgeous guardian angel anybody could have.
Wait, the most what?
Gorgeous, hottest.
Yeah, keep going.
Guardian angel anyone could have.
Anyone could have?
Anyone could have.
Whew. Wow.
Get a little hot in
I am
there?
blushing right now.
My question comes from my favorite episode.
I don't know if I'm going to recover from that compliment. Holy shit.
You get a picture with me later.
Okay, sweet.
My question is from my favorite episode. My daughter's the huge fan. But how much did you get to take home with you from learning from the pizza man?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit?
So generally speaking, and I don't know where you work, but we're sort of like a division of Warner Brothers, and one of the rules that they have is you're not technically allowed to watch pornography at work.
Just the pizza man.
But I was, of course, boning up on an upcoming episode, and so I had a wide berth on that, and I just watched a lot of porn all the time for several months leading up to that episode. And then afterwards, I kept doing it just in case there was another episode. Shame on you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello. I understand that your birth.
I love the idea of like the wardrobe, you know, Kelly, wardrobe knocks on the door. Oh, sorry. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just boning up for the upcoming episode. I understand that, but why do you have no pants on? It's all part of character stuff. So. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Your birth name is Dimitri.
Yes.
And I was wondering why you chose Misha, where it came from to change your name to Misha Collins.
I didn't, so that's my mom's fault, and you can take it up with her. So sometimes, here's the deal. If I talk about my mom at a convention panel, she'll watch the video, and then she'll end up sending me an email later that says, you know, just to set the record straight. And there's all this fact-checking that goes into it. So I'm always reluctant to talk about my mother and my
You can
past.
forward that email to me.
You'll deal with it?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great idea. Would you be my mother convention liaison? Sorry, Mom, I'm so busy. Talk to my convention liaison about this. I'm sure she can settle matters with you. But yeah, she's gonna argue with me when I say what happened. But what happened is, she went to Russia. She was a Russophile, which means someone who likes Russia. And she went to Russia in college, and she had a boyfriend. I know, it's gross. And her boyfriend's name was Mitya. His nickname was Mitya, which is a diminutive form of Dmitri. So you can call somebody whose legitimate name is Dmitri, Mitya. She heard Misha, so she named me legally Dmitri, but then called me Misha, which is the wrong nickname. So I've always been saddled with the wrong nickname. It should be Mikhail and Misha, or Dmitri and Dim, or Dmitri and Mitya, or Dima. So that's the deal. And I don't think my dad knows about the boyfriend aspect of the naming at all.
You'll get an email.
In fact, I don't think he even knows my full legal name at all, so I think we're fine. At one point, I called my dad. So the Collins is my mother's grandmother's maiden name, because I was showing up at auditions as Misha Prushnik, and everybody thought I was going to have a thick Russian accent. And so I thought, I'll make myself more mainstream American and basically prostitute myself and call myself something else. And so, that's right. And so I chose my grandmother's maiden name, which is Collins, so Misha Collins. And I was going somewhere with this, and it was good. Called my dad, thank you so much. I called my dad to let him know, I'm thinking about changing my stage name to Misha Collins, so I'm not going to be known as Misha Prushnik anymore, because everybody called me Misha at that point. That was a non-issue. And I said, and I think I'm just going to drop the middle name. And he said, you don't have a middle name. Which of course I did. And that actually made me feel much better about the whole thing. He was so uninvested in what I was called that he didn't know my whole name. So he sort of loses any rights to getting the last name at that point. But thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Yep, bye. Hi.
Hi. So I was wondering if you had to choose a vegetable to represent each cast member of the show, which vegetables would you assign them? It's a very serious question.
No, that is a serious question, for sure. I know. A little one. Is that a baby Cass? Oh my gosh. That is the cutest form of child abuse I've ever seen. Hi, little one. Hi. I think, let's see. Mark Pellegrino would probably be like a habanero pepper or something like that. Something really that leaves you crying. I would say Jensen would be something like what actually really represents his physique. I don't know, like spinach or something like that. Something that's sort of soft and that wilts easily. Yeah, and I think Jared, you can't obviously represent his entire physical being, but you could sort of isolate segments and say maybe a snow pea. For Jared? No. No, broccoli is too cool. That was a really challenging question, so thank you for
what
asking.
What about yourself?
What about myself?
You skipped yourself.
Ale? I was trying to think of like the most nourishing, most important vegetable, and nothing is popping to mind. And then what does pop into mind is a study that was, there was some scientific study of different foods and the nutritive value of them. And it was, if you had, I can't remember exactly what it was, it was some really hearty vegetable, like bok choy or something like that. You could have like one thing on a desert island, what would it be? And who would live longest? Like if you picked one thing for a desert island, what would it be to live longest? Just guess, very common food. What?
Coconut.
Wrong. Hot dogs. Isn't that disgusting? Can you imagine being stuck on a desert island and all you have is hot dogs and you're like, well, I'm glad I'm not stuck with the coconuts because I would have been dead a long time ago.
No, I would die first because I would just give myself to the sharks after like 3 days.
Really? That's as much hot dogs as you can handle. By the way, speaking of 3 days, so yesterday I was talking to our Dolly Grip, Dave, on Supernatural, and he said that over hiatus, he did a 21 day and 22 hour fast over hiatus, where he just had water.
He must have just...
Isn't that amazing? I said, you are a lying sack of shit to him. But if it's true, isn't that amazing? So anyway, it was great talking to you and your weird ideas. Hi.
Hi. Just wanted to get your opinion on what it was like to work with Eric Kripke again on Timeless. I really enjoyed your appearance there.
Why, thank you very much. Any excuse to interact at all with Eric Kripke is always welcome. So the way Timeless works and the way Supernatural works is the showrunners, the people that are actually in charge of of those operations, are down in LA and productions are shooting up in Vancouver. So we don't actually see each other much or have a ton of interaction. But the calls and emails that went back and forth setting that up were really exciting. And it was just actually like super cool. Kind of felt like coming full circle. And I just love everybody on Supernatural loves Eric. He's this amazing, creative, energetic, funny, smart guy who also is willing to take big risks. Like he had this totally satisfying, incredibly successful show that he was show running, and he said, you know what, I've done 5 years, that was my plan, I'm gonna go do something else. And I so admire and respect that, because that's gotta be hard to give up, because it's such a rarity, and we were all sad to see him go, but also everybody on the show is wishing him absolute success wherever he goes, so, yeah, good guy, and great things to come from him, for sure. But I think that he's a douchebag for killing my character so quickly. So, I agree, yeah. Hi.
What prank are you most proud of that you played on the boys?
That's for some reason the same thing that popped into my head was the paper airplane. So, there was a very dark little chapter in Supernatural filming history where Jared and Jensen were so abusive to me that we were shooting on location and people came from the studio. They left their jobs at their desks at the office in production because folks from set called and said, you have to come see this. And they drove over to set just to watch Jared and Jensen torture me. and I could not get a single line out without laughing, and it was so awful. By the way, that was happening last night again. What? No, I wasn't shooting Supernatural per se. I was shooting something with Jared and Jensen. I didn't say it was Supernatural. Don't jump to conclusions. Let's go right now. So Jared had last night managed to, I don't know how he was doing it. He was sitting on the bed, and we were doing something that we don't normally do on Supernatural, which is, it's called... Okay. Shame on each and every one of you. So we were doing something that we don't normally do, which is called dueling overs, which is when you shoot in one direction and you shoot in the opposite direction at the same time. So there was a camera on me as I was facing Jared, as he's sitting. I was standing. I was not on the bed. Jared was sitting on the bed. We were facing each other, but the cameras were on both of us at the same time. That's actually in our production unusual. We don't usually do that. So, and when I saw that we were setting this up, I was like, thank you, gods of television, because what that means is the camera is on Jared at the same time that it's on me, so he can't really fuck with me because it's gonna show up on his shot too, and he'll be ruining his take as well as my take. Normally what happens is there's like a medium shot and a close-up being shot on me at one time, and it's going over the shoulder, or Jared's off to the side of the camera, and he can do whatever he wants, and nobody sees, right? But now I was safe, because we were doing dueling overs, and he's sitting on the bed like this, but he has developed, I guess, he's been working on this, the ability to isolate body movements. And so, while he was delivering his lines, he was able to lift up his leg without moving his torso at all into my groin, like that. And it was maddening, because I couldn't believe that even with dueling overs that I wasn't safe. He's so awful. And again, it happened again last night. Jensen was like, fuck him. Like, he had this gesture that he was doing in the scene where he was like this, like kind of like an oy gesture, like right at the end of his line. He's like, we gotta get out of town before that ghoul gets to us, or something like that. And the camera was at this point positioned in such a way that they could see mid-thigh on Jared, so I was safe from this like probing appendage, and so Jensen saw that. He's like, oh, Misha's safe. And so when he did his thing, it transformed ever so slightly to, and it's very difficult to work under those circumstances. It's very challenging. They were sent home last night early. They were still in the scene, but per my request, they were sent home early so that I could finish the scene by myself and get a more quality product. Anyway, they were torturing me this one day. This was, I think, season 9, and it was just awful. And they were doing all kinds of, they were throwing things at me, and it was just like, everything was just making me break, and it was getting to the point of abusive. And then it was time for the camera to be on them. And so I folded up a paper airplane, and I threw it at them. But for some reason, the paper airplane just went, like right in front of me, didn't make it anywhere. And it was just the most humiliating moment of my life. So that's my favorite experience. And the rest of them were much worse than that. Thanks for asking. Hi.
Hi. Okay, this is a weird one, but my friend and I
Whoa. Weird question?
Yeah, I mean, it's just unusual. People probably
Okay,
don't
all right.
ask this in front of everyone, but like, my friend and I have a photo op with you in a little while, and we're really nervous about it, and we don't know like how to pose. So, do you have any ideas? We probably should have figured this out a while ago,
Let me choose? Well, I think that's sort of what she's asking right now.
yeah,
That seems like redundant advice. She's like, what? She's like, would you be willing to choose? Someone in the audience, oh, how about if Misha chooses? So thank you so much for the feedback. Where are you leaning with this?
I mean, we don't want it to be basic. We want something like,
Not basic.
yeah, like we don't want to just stand there.
You're talking about like advanced? You want advanced?
Yeah.
Like Black Diamond kind of stuff? That sounds
probably
dangerous.
not.
Are you a gymnast?
No, we both
Okay.
play volleyball, so.
So full disclosure, we do not have a bed available in the photo op room. So we can't do any of the stuff that I would normally do with Jared. So where are you thinking? Are you thinking
I
like
don't know, this
like
is
so
why
there's
I'm
two of you,
asking.
there's two of you, and then there's one of me?
There's two of us, and we've looked up like all
Oh
kinds
shit,
of
this is
ideas.
this is
Isn't this tough? We've been thinking for weeks, months.
Okay, how about this? I'm just spitballing here.
Okay.
What if what's your friend's name?
Sarah.
Okay, how about this? What if Sarah like smiles really big and you smile medium and then I don't smile at all? No, that's too hard. That's too hard. Okay. Okay, you smile really big. And then Sarah smiles medium and I don't smile at all.
Alright, this is not helping. Oh my god, don't look at me! Oh my god! Wow, you are so hot. I can't. I am so starstruck right now. I'm sorry. Wow.
Okay. We'll figure it out. I'm sure.
Okay.
I'll have Jim come up with some ideas for us.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, I'm crazy nervous.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Going, obviously. Wow. Okay, yeah, you are really hot, but you know. Okay, question.
Yes.
Man, you really lost the crowd. That's sad. Good thing we came out here to save it. Go ahead, answer your question.
I don't have a question yet. It's just getting awkward, this whole thing.
Come
Not
on.
getting awkward, that's not fair. You
Okay.
know you're hot.
What's the question?
So, can you put us, I guess, all out of our misery a little bit and give us like a clue to Castiel coming back? I was really devastated.
Okay. Yes, I will. I'm happy to do that. I actually have not even gotten official approval from the studio or network to talk about this, but I'm
It's
going
okay,
to.
break the rules.
So, we will open on Cass dead. But there's a whole season arc that I think you'll find very gratifying. That I know I'm trying not to give away too much, but I want to give away a little. I want to give a taste. So first, Cass is totally stone cold dead.
You can
right?
stop saying it. It really hurts a little bit.
But then there's a very cool couple of episodes where Cass gets gradually embalmed. I mean, you saw that script. It's so cool.
The embalming script?
Yeah,
It's called the embalming, right?
Yeah. And then after that, the embalming starts to wear off. The corpse starts to rot a little bit, and then he's sort of mummified, which is also super cool.
And then he gets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give away all the details, but
He's sort of. Then he's like undead.
he's undead, and by which he means that wild animals just sort of peck away the remaining flesh and leave just a skeleton.
Yeah.
He's missing both limbs by like episode 13.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be talking about this, but I'm going up to direct the next episode, and there's a really wonderful scene where this critter has your innards, and it uses your innards as a bed during a cool winter, and it's
which is, by the way, like when I read that, I cried because it's so metaphorical,
brilliant.
and it's so moving.
And we just cast a young man to play your innards, and he's so talented. He's a very, very gifted, gifted man, young, handsome.
And then we ultimately there's the worm episode, which is hilarious, and then ultimately the incineration. So the arc for the season, I think, for my character is more dynamic than anything I've had in a long time. I don't have obviously any dialogue, but it's
in a way that's a blessing. I mean, I just
for me and the audience. So yeah, thanks for asking.
Thanks for the snark.
I'm gonna get in such trouble for all those spoilers, by the way.
Yeah. Misha,
What? What's up?
how'd it go? Be honest.
It had its moments, ups and downs. You know.
Whatever happened to the eye mask?
So I ended up disposing of it.
You threw it at somebody and they kept it.
Well, here's the weird thing.
That's
I threw it sort of in that rock star kind of way, like, yeah, you want my underwear kind of thing. And the people right here just recoiled in terror. It was like, ah! You know, like it was biohazard or something like that. Which, of course, it is, but I mean, you know, have a little tact. Pick it up with something. Like, don't touch it with your bare skin, but pick it up and act gracious, I say.
Yeah. I can't believe they didn't graciously accept your garbage. That's weird. How dare you? You're smart.
This is going well. People are leaving in droves.
You were just in the zone today.
First they boo you.
They booed you so hard, and now they're leaving. Before you stampede out the door, trust me, it's almost over. Don't worry. No, listen. You're back tomorrow, hanging around, doing photographs and autographs and stuff, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so
I will be here for the next day and a half.
And I also believe don't you have a Random Acts table outside?
There's a Random Acts table, which I would love for you guys to visit. And if you are at all interested in supporting our hurricane relief and enterprise online, we would be very grateful to you. We're expanding to include Irma as it makes landfall in Florida. Is that anybody here from Florida? Sorry, but actually you're in a really good place right now, so good choice. And have an awesome weekend, you guys. We're all actually really happy to be here, so thank you.
Misha Cohen, everybody! As you spread for the door, do not forget tonight's Saturday night special right here on this stage.